Hello everyone, welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In this video, we'll be talking about Arctic air pushing its way south from Canada into the eastern two-thirds of the United States. Also talking about a light snow event that could be causing our first accumulating snow across parts of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. And we'll also be talking about a secondary push of some very cold Arctic air behind the storm system as we push into late this week and especially into next weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining me again. I know it's been such a long time since I've been on this channel here. Thank you guys for being so patient with me here and getting back on this channel. I do appreciate it. If you guys are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. So let's get into it here this morning. We're waking up to very cold temperatures across much of southern Canada, across portions there of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and west central Ontario, Canada as well. We got a lot of that colder air bleeding its way southward towards the Dakotas, getting into much of the Midwest and portions of the Tennessee Valley as well as the Rockies here. You can see temperatures diving back into the single digits in parts of central and north central portions of the Dakotas. That will continue to move its way south in the coming days. And the reason for that is because over top of that cold air, we have all that ridging, a spike in the warmer temperatures across Alaska, the western and central portions of Canada, and that is forcing all of that Arctic air here all the way southward towards the central and eastern two-thirds of the United States. And that actually looks to become a little bit more amplified as we continue to push here towards the late this upcoming week, towards that Wednesday, Thursday time frame, with even deeper blues and purples showing up here across the eastern two-thirds of the United States. A very big spike in warmer temperatures across Alaska and the western Canadian provinces here. That will assure that colder air will move southward across portions of the eastern two-thirds of the United States late this week. And the Climate Prediction Center for the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from November 19th through the 23rd, getting very close to that Thanksgiving time frame, does offer a very high likelihood of some very cold and Arctic temperatures continuing here right through the holiday week there, across much of the lower 48 here, an exception to South Florida where we could be near normal to slightly above normal down there toward Miami and maybe Naples, Florida in the Fort Myers area. But everywhere else, we're going to be at least slightly to much below normal for temperatures leading up to that holiday here on Thanksgiving. Looking a little bit farther through the day of Thanksgiving and then a little bit farther toward the very end of November there, we're going to be seeing a lot of that cooler air sticking around here, has a lot of staying power across the eastern two-thirds of the United States. We will have some warmer times with that here ridging across the western United States, across the Pacific Northwest and up into western Canada, forcing some slightly above normal temperatures there across Seattle, Portland, Oregon, getting down into north central California. We also have that warmer air potentially as far south as the Florida area as well, especially south central Florida, again toward Miami, Naples, Tampa Bay, the Fort Myers area, Daytona Beach are some of the areas where we could be slightly above normal during that time frame. So looking ahead to this afternoon, we got some cooler temperatures pressing its way to the south. We got some upper 30s and lower 40s across much of the Ohio Valley, the middle Mississippi Valley here, some 50s and 60s being shown across portions of the deep south here. But looking up to the north across the Dakotas, we actually have some teens and low 20s for highs as we move into this afternoon. And as we move back into this evening here, yeah, we're going to be seeing those low temperatures across much of the Rockies, the Intermountain West, and the Dakotas especially, dropping back into the single digits. Yeah, middle single digits here for our low temperatures, and that will assure some wind chills dropping below zero across these areas as you get up towards Bismarck and back toward the Fargo area, and then all the way back toward Rapid City there in South Dakota. Yeah, we could be talking about below zero wind chills here as we get towards that Tuesday morning time frame. Speaking of Tuesday, November 15th, right in the middle of the month, yeah, once again, a lot of that cooler air sticking around, a lot of 30s and 40s across the eastern two-thirds of the United States. That will be dropping its way a little bit farther south with that 40-degree temperature line, getting all the way farther south there toward the Red River into North Texas, much of portions of the Mid-South. And yes, we have more teens and low 20s across portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and eastern Montana as we head into tomorrow afternoon. We also do have a storm system that we'll have to talk about. We have another kind of slower storm system that'll start to move its way here to the east over the next several days, bringing some light snow accumulations to much of the eastern two-thirds of the United States in a widespread fashion as we get towards the middle of this week. So much so that we actually do have winter weather advisories here across portions of the middle Missouri Valley back into the southern plains, even winter storm warnings being hoisted across portions of western Oklahoma, with some light to moderate snowfall accumulations possible in some of these areas here in the next couple of days. And looking at this here, this is the vorticity signature to show you the low-level spin in the environment here, the low and mid-level spin. You definitely see these colors showing up across North Texas, especially the Texas Panhandle into western Oklahoma. That is our low-pressure system getting together with that snowfall, and that will continue to pivot its way to the east, swinging its way up into the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, starting to kind of shear its way out here as well, starting to kind of widen its horizon with the snowfall shield, and kind of shear itself out here across the Ohio Valley as we get towards that Tuesday and especially Wednesday timeframe as that storm system moves up into the northeast. You do see the jet stream is a lot stronger down to the south across the southern and central plains and much of the Tennessee Valley. That is kind of the traffic zone for all of this, these low pressure systems to develop and move across the highway here across the southern United States. That's where the stronger dynamics will be. So the main storm system itself will actually remain across the southeast, but its effects of the snowfall and the mixed precipitation zone and maybe some rainfall will be felt here a little bit farther north than this jet stream does show. So looking here as we head into this afternoon, we got some mixed bag of precipitation, some sleet, freezing rain, and snowfall, maybe some cooler rains being produced across much of western and central Oklahoma. Some chillier rains, maybe some rumbles of thunder at time across portions of East Texas here. No severe weather is expected from this storm system that much here at this time. As this continues to press its way across the deep south into the southeast, we'll have more rainfall here with some chillier rains across portions of the Atlanta metro, getting up into portions there of middle and eastern Tennessee, much of the southeast. But to the north of that storm track, yes, we do have some cooler weather and some lighter snow accumulating across portions there of the middle Missouri Valley into the Great Lakes here as we head in towards that Tuesday morning time frame, and that will continue to move its way up toward the northeast with a 1008 millibar low pressure system right off the coast of Maryland there. And on the northwestern side of the storm system, we'll have light to moderate snowfall rates here, potentially up to an inch per hour as we move towards that Wednesday morning time frame, with more of that rainfall across the I-95 corridor. As you get up toward Boston, we could see some sleet and freezing rain, but that will be something to watch, especially depending on that storm track as we get towards the middle of this week. In comparison, the GFS is actually pretty remarkably similar to this here. A little bit drier on the northwestern side of the system on the GFS, but still showing the same theme with the snowfall on the northwestern side, a mixed precipitation zone of sleet and freezing rain in between, and then some chillier rains across portions here of Cape Cod, getting back down the I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City, so that will be something to watch. Overall, looking at snowfall amounts, pretty light across this area here across the eastern two-thirds of the United States, where we see the snowfall here on the northern and northwestern fringes of the storm system. Again, averaging around 1 to 3 inches here. There may be some spots, especially in those winter storm warnings here into western Oklahoma, that may overachieve, may get 4 inches or so of snowfall, but I'm not really overall expecting a big major snow event from this storm. It is kind of lacking some moisture, so I'm not really too worried about that. But it's after the storm system moves through, we actually do see a even colder air mass move southward out of Canada into the Great Lakes and the Midwest. This will set up the coldest air of the season across these areas as we get towards late this week on your Friday and into Saturday, and that really amplifies as we get towards late this weekend into early next week. That is something we'll continue to watch. Here we have the spike in the ridge all the way up to the north, well to the north here, maybe even farther to the north of Alaska. So that is pretty impressive here for the middle of November, to say the very least. Very cold air mass across the Great Lakes and eastern two-thirds of the United States, not only for the United States, but yes, yes, central and eastern Canada is going to be feeling this as well. And you can definitely see high temperatures. Yes, high temperatures on your Saturday, November 19th, reaching the 20s across much of the Midwest. If not, look at that, guys. The single digits for high temperatures across North Dakota is very impressive for the middle of November, to say the least. We do have a snowpack up there from a recent snowstorm, but that is definitely pretty impressive. And look at these overnight, or actually these wind chills rather. But the low temperatures will feel like the below zero. I mean, it's going to be 5 to 15 degrees below zero across much of the upper Midwest and the northern plains, especially into portions of North Dakota, getting into Manitoba there, into Western Ontario, and perhaps down into Minnesota as we get towards that Saturday afternoon, evening time frame. As we go into Sunday, the cooler air starts to move its way southward here. We have high temperatures in the 50s along the deep south into the southern plains. Look at that, guys. The Chicago lakefront all the way up here into Milwaukee, Green Bay. Yeah, we're going to be just touching around 20 degrees or the low 20s on your Sunday afternoon. Teens and single digits for highs across much of Minnesota, western Wisconsin, getting up into the northern plains there, and much of southern and southeastern Canada as well as we get into that Sunday time frame. Looking at your wind chills, yeah, this is your afternoon wind chills here on your Sunday, November 20th time frame here. And yeah, we're seeing single digit wind chills across much of north central Illinois, north central Indiana, and back into portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin, parts of Iowa. And yes, below zero wind chills across northwestern Minnesota, North Dakota, where we have that deeper snowpack from our recent system. And yes, we have some cooler temperatures and wind chills up into portions of Canada with below zero wind chills there as we get towards that Sunday time frame. Speaking of that cooler air, again, we're not going to have a lot of opportunities for any major snow events here going up through the Thanksgiving holiday time frame itself. A lot of below normal precipitation being favored across the middle and eastern side of the country here. There may be some slightly above normal precipitation where we do see the cooler rains across southern and southeastern Texas, Louisiana, back into Florida, and a little pocket there in the northern portions of California as well. That really extends here past the holiday through the very end of November there with some slightly below normal precipitation, but it looks like some more active weather. If you're waiting for some active weather across the Pacific Northwest into Washington, Idaho, back into western Montana and Oregon, maybe farther south into Nevada and California, you'll have to wait until after Thanksgiving for a more active pattern to set up there across those areas. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely appreciate you watching these videos as always. Again, I am back now finally. Remember to like my video here down below by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. And most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely helps out grow the YouTube community here on this channel. So definitely appreciate all your likes and subscriptions here down below. Thank you guys so much. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you all in the next video.